Welcome to Take the Lead podcast. I am your host, Tera Chantelle. Before we jump in, I have a question. Are you ready to be the example, to live by example? The example begins with you. Episode number 40, Investing with Teri. Teri is blessed with the opportunity to travel and live her best life while trading full time. Teri has made it her purpose to empower individuals around the world to achieve financial freedom and build wealth through investing. Thank you so much for joining Take the Lead podcast, Teri.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
From traveling to teaching to working nonprofits, I truly appreciate you for even taking the time to share this knowledge with us.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
So tell us what inspired you to get into trading.
Sure. So I first learned about trading in high school. I was in a program from my junior year to my senior year, and I visited the Chicago Board of Exchange, which is really the Chicago stock market. And that just opened my world to like this whole new just world that I had never known before. But I decided that, well, I'm going to go a different route. So in college, I studied management. I interned on Wall Street, but I still decided to go into consulting. And there, one of our clients was Teach for America. So I ended up doing like 10 years of working in education and trying to have educational equality and helping train teachers and helping operations. And my last job was assistant principal of an elementary school. But girl, when it got crazy, I was like,
Oh, yeah, you dipped out.
Yes, I needed an exit strategy. And I remembered back from trading and from interning, like, hey, this is a way that I can make some income that will supplement my salary. So I realized that I just needed $300 a day to quit my job and started trading or to start traveling full time.
Really?
And so that's what I did. I started working, like took some educational classes on trading, kept practicing in the stock market, and then eventually was able to quit as an assistant principal and just travel and trade full time.
Wow, that is incredible how you just especially took this leap of faith and you calculated. I was like, okay, I need to make $300 a day so I can just live my best life. So how did
Yes,
you?
and you.
I'm
Oh, go ahead.
sorry. I'm
Oh, I
sorry.
was
How
just
did you
saying.
find the courage?
Great question. Sometimes I think sometimes sometimes things are easy and it's a easily laid out plan and it just seems like the right fit. Like if I had gotten a raise somewhere or gotten a new job, it would have been an easy thing to do. But in this one, everything kind of fell apart, but fell into the right place. So when I say that, my friend had passed away and that opened up my eyes to like life is too short for this mess. I can't be in school.
Yes, that's the truth.
And then I was really afraid. So I told the Lord, like I had prayed about it. And the Lord actually told me, do it. I want you to go trade and travel. You could do this. But I was still scared. So I was like, well, Lord, I have a lease, girl. I lived on the 25th floor and it flooded. And you're not supposed to have a flood on the 25th floor.
No way.
Yep. I was 2 floors from the top. Apparently, the apartment on the 27th floor had a pipe bust, and then the water came all the way into my apartment. They let us out our lease, and then I got insurance money because that was another complaint. Like, well, Lord, I ain't got enough money.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, insurance was like, well, we'll pay you for everything in your apartment. And I was like, wait, what? Yes.
Okay,
And then,
God.
yes. And it was so easy too. They were like, yeah, just check your account. It should be there in 2 days. And I was like, wait, what?
No. Oh, that's incredible.
Yes. So this was one of those God things where I was like, you know what, Lord, fine. Obviously, you have a plan with all of this. Let me just take this leap of faith and I know you'll provide for me. And he did.
Oh, and you listened as well when God spoke to you. Because a lot of times we get so caught up in our fear or doubt trying to talk us out. And you actually listen to this plan and look at you now, how you're educating others and how you have so much knowledge to just share this.
Yeah, I think the Lord definitely rewarded my obedience. I can't remember what scripture it is right now, but there's a scripture that talks about like if you're just obedient and follow what the Lord says, then he will provide all the desires of your heart. And I think really he has shown himself true in that. Like I took the leap of faith and then he just came behind and was like, "You know what?" And actually at that time I literally thought that I would just be trading and traveling by myself. I had no idea I'd be teaching students later. I had no idea that I'd become a millionaire later. Like I was just satisfied with my little $300 a day. Like
Yes. But you have this abundant mindset to go bigger and go all out. How did you develop this mindset?
I think it's one of those things where I just do my best. There's and I'm sorry for anybody who doesn't believe, but I'm a big faith person. So
Yes.
there's this scripture that talks about do your best in everything as if working for God and not for man. And I
Mhm.
think for me, that's just always my strategy. Like no matter what it is, I'm just going to give my best. If I'm teaching students, I'm going to give you my best effort. Like you're going to get the best slides when I come. I'm going to make sure that it's everything you need to learn just because like I want to put forward my best. If I'm doing anything, whether that's traveling, well, when I travel, my best is like just chilling. So, um,
Yes, that's a form. Gotta be still, and just relax from all the work you do.
yes, yes. But I think that's where the abundance is. It's just like, you know what? No matter what I do, I'm just going to do my best. And then, like, I'm just going to try. And what's happened is every time I try and really give it my all, then things start happening.
That's incredible. And you were just in Africa as well. How was that experience?
It was really cool. It was really, really cool. I have to admit there was some pros and some cons. So pros, I was in South Africa in Cape Town, and it's right on the water, and it's just gorgeous. Like it's just gorgeous. The water's kind of cold though. You can't actually sit on the beach and chill like you think you're going to be able to because it's like ice cold.
Oh no.
Yes, we went out there. We were like, "Ooh, we're gonna have a beach day." No, we not. We gonna touch our feet in this water and go to the restaurant and look at it from the
I know that's right. I know.
But it was gorgeous. Like the like Table Mountain is beautiful. I got a really nice penthouse Airbnb, and so we kind of had beautiful views. We were able to like go out there, and they actually had a massage therapist come, and my big sister was like, "Let's ask her to put it out on the balcony." So we actually had massages outside, which was really cool. So it was a really cool experience. I would,
That
yeah. Go
that's
ahead.
that's that's incredible. You're just living your best life.
It's been cool. But you know what I will say, and I know I didn't talk about the cons. Somebody's gonna be like, what were the cons? The cold water, y'all. And then they had electricity shortages. So sometimes electricity would go out and sometimes the water would go out. And so that was something I had to get used to. Like, man, if we don't take care of our resources, this is gonna be us. But
Yes.
these beautiful
Yes.
houses with no water, just crazy.
I know it's like useless. It just make us appreciate the little things. And we
Yes.
take things for granted so much. Like during this whole tragedy, we took so much for granted and now look at us.
Yeah, yeah. Like right now with I don't know when this is gonna air, but when we're recording this, like the coronavirus is going on and a lot of things are happening and um like I think sometimes we took for granted the ability to just go outside.
And enjoy each other's company.
Yes, yes. I was like, man, extroverts are having a real hard time right now. They gotta stay in the house, can't talk to nobody.
It's a struggle for all of us. And I think everybody is feeling this too.
Yes, they really are. They
How
really,
are you
really are.
taking it?
Well, actually, I'm kind of amazed that my business, like the way that my businesses are. So, trading stocks, you can do that from anywhere. So, I can do that at home. I can do it from my cell phone from anywhere in the world. So, that doesn't stop. And the market's been
Mm.
falling, but I know how to make money when the market comes down. So, Like that's
I
been fine.
That's been you're chilling. Yes, you're not phased. You're not moved. You are staying calm.
Yeah.
So, what is your secret when you know about the market is falling like this?
Well, so when you're a professional trader, you know that when the market is going up, you can make money, but also when the market is coming down, you can make money. And it's something called shorting, but it's something that not very many people know about. So there's this myth that the only time you can make money is on the way up. But actually, a lot of the big money guys, a lot of the banks, a lot of the hedge funds that you see, they make billions of dollars right now because the market is falling so fast. Can you just imagine, just imagine if you made $1 for every point that the Dow dropped on some of these days. Well, recently the Dow dropped 3,000 points in a day. Like you just made $3,000 and then amplify that because it's moving so much in a day right now. So it's something called shorting. What you do is you sell sell a stock high and then you buy it back low and you get to keep the difference. But it's really cool and you make a lot of money when the market's going down fast.
What? So I know during this tragedy right now, some people might be standoffish and feel like, oh, I'm this is not possible. How can you let people know that this is still possible when times are hard?
Yes. So I think a couple things. If you're a novice to investing, this is the time to learn. I don't want you to be practicing or trying to just throw some money at it. I know quite a few people when Robinhood was zero commissions, they were like, oh yeah, I'm about to open me an account and I'm and I'm about to buy me 2 shares and didn't have any kind of knowledge, but just was like, I need to do it. And that is true. I think everybody needs to be invested. But in a time like this, if you're a novice, I actually want you to get educated. So this is the time to take a course. Like a lot of my new students are coming into trade and travel and they're like, Teri, I just want to learn. This is the time to take a course. Then you want to make sure you're opening your brokerage account because you want to be ready. Some of the stocks that are so wonderful, like Amazon, Netflix is still kind of high right now, but Adobe, just so many wonderful companies, their stocks have been falling with the rest of the market. So you're going to get some opportunities soon to get really great companies at low prices, but you got to be ready. So that's why you need to have your brokerage account open. And I want people to start putting cash in that account so that when we do turn back around, they're ready to get in.
They're ready. So, what other ways can we get ready? Because you named just a few.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any more that we need to do in
Sure.
order to be prepared?
Sure. So I still really stand by that education piece. I think that the first thing is to take a course. And I don't encourage you to just try to go look at YouTube because every trader trades differently.
Okay.
So for example, with me, I have in my trading plan, there's 7 steps. So the first one is you got to pick the right companies. Then we go into risk management. Then we go into reading charts. So all these things I think are essential to be a good trader. But if you listen to me and get my half of my plan, and then you go on YouTube and get half of somebody else's and half of somebody else's, you never have a complete way to trade. So I encourage you follow one person that you think is good. You've seen their results. You've seen that they're a good teacher. You can learn from them. Find that person, figure out their whole strategy. Then once you master that, then you can go to the next thing.
Yes. So you have your own course and you also focus on 4 elements in your course. Mm-hmm. What are they?
So as I was saying, the first one is picking the right companies. One big myth is that if you don't have a lot of money, you should pick really low stocks. And that actually is not the truth. People start going towards penny stocks because they don't have a lot of money. But usually penny stocks are cheap for a reason. They're usually not that good of companies. So I want you to get a healthy company. And then you're going to, I have several criteria I teach on how to make sure that company is the right one to invest in. So that's step 1, investing in good, healthy companies. Then step 2 is you got to have a risk management plan. So there's actually things you can do to protect yourself from losing. And I think a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that. The first 6 years of my trading, I lost a lot of money just trying to figure it out, right? And thinking that well, it's okay. Eventually it'll come back up. It'll come back. But what I didn't know is there's actually ways to protect yourself on the front end. There's an order type that you can put in the computer called a stop loss, and it'll protect you from losing money. it'll take you out the trade if the stock comes down. And just think, oh man, just think. So Roku right now, it went from being like $160 a few weeks ago to $60. It went down 100 points. So just imagine if you were still just sitting in it. Like maybe if you're a long-term investor, you were just sitting in the stock. So now your value just went down $100 per share. But just think, well, what if I had a stop in there that said if it came down $10, it would get me out of the trade? You would be out of the trade. You wouldn't have lost very much. And then you just be watching on the side while it came down. And we're like, ooh, I'm going to get back in low. So,
Yeah.
so risk management is super important. And then reading charts. So I have so many people email me and they're like, Teri, is now the time to buy so-and-so stock? Or is now the time to buy this? Or what about I'm in a stock and is now the time to get out? All of those things are dictated by the chart. If you knew how to read charts, you could tell that for yourself. Is this the time to get into the trade or is this the time to get out of the trade? That's reading charts, the candlestick charts. So that's what I teach my students. So now they can know for themselves when to get in and out of stocks.
Good.
And then the last thing is just managing the trade and putting all the pieces together. So once you figured out those 3 big areas, now you have to have a plan in place that says, okay, every time I take a trade, I'm going to do these steps. And that just gives you consistency. That takes emotions out. So now you're not so nervous every time you take a trade because you're following the same steps. Like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
So yes. So then I teach them my trading plan. So those are the 4 big steps I think you need to be a good trader.
That's incredible how the steps are so key, and it's truly a key component to have be successful in trading like this.
Yeah. And I think having a plan is good in any type of investment. So I've done real estate for a while too. And I think like no matter what, there's always going to be risk. And I think that's something people don't realize. Like they think of stocks and all of a sudden they get scared like, oh, well, that's a gamble and that's too risky. But every investment is risky. Even when you think about yourself, like when you take a new adventure, for me, when I quit my job, everything has risk. But you're only going to have better rewards when you're willing to take the risk.
Exactly. And you really do have to take risk on these companies. How do you know which companies are that have longevity? Do you get a feeling? How do you have that discernment?
Great question. So I've been trading for 10 years now, and I have one watch list of 30 companies that I've been watching for a long time. Every now and again, I'll take a stock off and then put a new stock on. But really, it's that picking good companies part. So are they healthy? Are they moving enough? Are they going in the right direction? Like all of these things are things I take into consideration. I'm not a fundamental trader. So one thing that people are always like, I don't have enough time to trade because I have to do all this research. Honestly, that's not true the way that I trade because we look at charts, like I was saying, and that is pretty easy to read. You can read a chart in like 5 minutes and know whether to trade the stock or not. But really it's that piece of picking good companies. And then I encourage people, this is another myth out there. They think that they're going to have to watch like a million companies. Like, oh, there's so many companies out there. How do you choose? Pick about 3 good companies that you've seen work well, and you could make money on those same 3 companies. When they go up, you sell. When they come back down, you buy some more. You can make good income from just watching a few stocks. You don't have to watch every stock in the world.
Yes, just that simple. So I hear about stocks and investing and trading. What are the difference between each?
Yes. So all of it is investing, but then it's about time frame. So some people are longer term investors and they're doing more of a buy and hold strategy. That means that they're trying to basically hold their stocks until retirement, and they'll sell the stocks when they're 65 or older and then be able to live off that money. That's more of a buy and hold strategy. I am a active investor. An active investor is somebody who is getting in and out of stocks on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, so a pretty fast basis. And our goal is to use the money for income. So instead of saving it for years down the road, we're able to use the money to pay off bills, pay down debt, travel, whatever we want, but we're actively investing. We're actively trading. And another way to say that is day or swing trading. A day trade is when you get into the stock one day and out of it that same day. A swing trade is if you were to anything more than one day. So if you get in today and then keep it 2 days or a week, that's considered a swing trade.
Okay. You're incredibly knowledgeable on what you know.
Thank you.
And that's what it takes to have this confidence into what you believe in, what you're teaching other people as
Yes.
well.
That's why I'm so adamant about getting educated because I've been there. I've been there where I know that this could work. I've seen other people do it, but I'm losing. Every time I take a trade, it feels like I'm on the wrong side. So I've been there before. I've been in the place where I've lost money and told my mom I was going to quit. But, just imagine if I had quit. All the people who I've taught now, like there's over 1,000 students in my course now, and they are killing it. Like our goal is to help 1,000 students make $1,000 in a day. And if we reach that goal, that's $1 million in a day. So like, I can just imagine if I had quit back when I did. And I know that there's some people that are like me that were trying to figure it out, but losing money and didn't really know what to do. So that's like why I educate people now.
And realizing how this is so much bigger than you.
Yes.
How so many people are connected to your vision and what you have to share with us.
We had one student, like we've had several students now that are now turning in their resignation letters because they're going to start trading full time. I have one who traveled to 13 countries last year trading stocks. She's in my class. I have one who's made $7,000 in a day. Another made $20,000 in a day. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are doing so good.
Yes. For those who have the self-doubt and thinking they have to be a mathematician or they think that they can't read a chart, how can you make it simple for them?
Yep. So one thing I will say is you don't have to know math, like not like that. It's not like geometry or physics. It's not like that. What you really need to know is how to find a sale. If you're good at going to the store and looking for clearance and figuring out like, I'm going to, instead of waiting to buy this at full price, I'm going to go find the one that's on sale. That's the kind of mentality that I need you to have when you're looking at stocks. Okay, how do I know what full price is? You're going to be looking at the chart for that. And then how do I know when it's on sale? You're looking at the chart for that. If you can follow that mindset and that mentality, you'll be a good trader. It's not about physics and all the math. It's about knowing where the buyers are and where the sellers are.
Straight like that. And you are huge on financial freedom. What does that mean to you?
To me, okay, so when I think of financial freedom, I think of not having to pay any bills that are dedicated to somebody else. So for example, I'm really working on paying off my mortgage on my house because I know that most of that bill was going towards the bank. It was not helping me. Unfortunately, most of the time when we get a house, we think that, we're building equity, but I paid on I have a rental property in Chicago and I got it 12 years ago. This year, I looked at the account and I was like, I've been paying on this thing 12 years. How much have I paid off the principal? I had only paid off $20,000 of principal. And I'm like, dang, after 12 years, I had paid over $120,000, but only $20,000 of it had gone towards principal. Everything else went towards the bank. To me, yeah.
Wow, we don't know that. We're not aware of this
right
knowledge.
So to me, I'm like, no, I can't do it. I that's stupid. Like, why am I paying so much money to the bank and not to myself? So this year I just started paying chunks off. Like now I think I'm down to only owing $14,000 on it, and I think I just put in like another $10,000 payment. So now it's super small. And the only reason I haven't just completely paid it off is for your credit. If you completely pay off something, this is just a piece of knowledge that I found out, so maybe it'll help somebody else. But if you completely pay off something, because I also was paying off like my student loans, I paid off all my credit cards. But as soon as you pay it off, it just kind of wipes away from your credit. So it doesn't really help it anymore. So I've been trying to go in slower chunks with my mortgage so that it can help show that like, she's only has 3% left on her mortgage, and it'll help my credit. So that's why I haven't paid it all off just yet. But yes,
Yeah.
like financial freedom to me means that I don't have to make a lot of money to live my life because I don't have a lot of bills coming out every month. So if I don't have credit cards, then
Yes.
that's cool. I don't have to make as much because I don't have to worry about that. If I don't have this mortgage payment, then I don't have to worry about that. So now I honestly could live off of probably $2,000 a month and be fine and probably still live my same life because I don't have any debt or
Yeah.
bills coming out that would hurt me. That's financial freedom to me.
That sounds like truly a blessing, not having to worry about bills, because this whole epidemic got us stressing right now. How we gonna pay these
Yes,
bills?
and it's crazy because like I was talking to an Uber driver recently, and he was like, "Man, if like because he usually goes and picks up people from the airport, but nobody right now is at the airport." So he was like, "If this
Yeah.
lasts too many more weeks, I'm gonna have to find another job." And then I was thinking
Wow.
like, but what other job? Because all the other jobs are closing down too.
Yes, and this has just instilled in my head about creating your own, how you created your own lane with trading. And that's why you're not even worried about what is going on. And it's not even affecting you because you have created something and you're giving back to other people as well and you're helping other
Yes, that's
people.
so true. And I do think that everyone just needs to be creative because right now, while one door is shutting, another door is opening. So, for example, yes, most of the restaurants and, well, there's another way to think about restaurants too, but most of like the movie theaters and a lot of the jobs are closing, but at the same time their delivery is up now, so I'm sure Uber Eats is going to need more people. Their back office like
Yeah.
Amazon said they're about to hire 100,000 more people because now they have to get more stuff out because everybody's online. People are, yes, people are at home. So
Yes.
now if you have online courses or anything for people to do while at home, that's a great business. So I think we just got to start being more creative about like, how do I provide value during any situation?
Exactly. And I feel like some people run into the excuse of not being creative. How can you tell someone to get creative or just give them ideas to be creative if they have that excuse
I
come
think
up?
first we have to identify the mindset. Like I can't tell someone to be more creative if I haven't identified the fact or helped them change their mindset on excuses. Because as long as you have
Yes.
excuses of why you can't do something and why you didn't have enough time and why you are waiting on somebody else to provide, then it's going to be real hard for you to move forward. Like, yeah,
It is. It is that
we have
mindset.
to change those.
And yes, before you became a millionaire, I feel like you had this millionaire
Mm-hmm.
mindset.
There were times where I wasn't a millionaire yet, but someone would talk to me and I'm like, yeah, I'm a millionaire. And not in the fact of like, oh, I'm lying, but just like I had that mindset already, like that is who I am. Like it hasn't yet come into my account, but
Yes.
so yes, I am a millionaire. And
You you have to speak that life over
yes,
you.
yes. And affirmations are real, like and manifestation. Like those are two things that I don't think I did a lot when I was younger. And I still am growing in this area. But I think what you say has so much power and people don't realize it. Even what you say you do and don't like. So as a business owner now, there's certain parts of my job I really
Yes.
don't like. Like I don't like getting up all the time early ever. But but
Exactly.
instead of saying that out loud and continuing to perpetuate it, no, like if there's something that you don't like, I want to challenge everybody. Start saying that you do like it. And just keep saying that. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of a good example, but I think there was something like I didn't like writing emails and it's like it's hard for me. It takes a long time. But instead of telling everybody, like I think I was on
Yes.
a call with my team, instead of telling everybody, yeah, I don't like doing this and, harping on, I was like, you know what? I really love writing emails. They come easily to me. I'm going to be able to write them very fast. All just the opposite of everything that's usually true. But do you know that after I did that, I felt better about it? Like it didn't feel like such a roadblock as it was before.
Oh, wow. That's incredible when you can just switch it. When that negative talk comes up and you can just switch it off and turn it off. And that's power
I
right
think there's
there.
something that it just releases in your mind because as long as you're telling yourself that you don't like something or that something's hard, I feel like it programs somewhere in you, like your muscles get tense, like there's some kind of roadblock in your brain, like I feel like it just is a self-fulfilling prophecy almost. But when you start switching it and saying that you do like certain things, then all of a sudden like you feel lighter, you don't feel as dreadful when you start doing it, and then it does start getting easier. And I think too you're also able to see more clearly who can help you. Like I realized like I'm okay at doing emails, but then when I started talking to certain people on my team, I was like, but you're amazing at this. But I didn't even see that until I was
Exactly.
able to open my mind to it.
Wow. The mind is a powerful thing right there. The
It
mind is
really is.
powerful. And you have a team. And that is such a blessing, having people that believe in you, supporting you, and rooting for you. How did you find great team members?
I want to say that I did like all this research and interviewed a ton of people, and I didn't. I should have. I really should have. But I started watching all of the people around me and just seeing what they were good at. And then when I realized there were points in my business where I needed that skill set, I personally reached out to them. That's how I got most of the people on my team. Like I knew that I wanted to start doing more partnerships and podcasts and things like that. And one of the friends that I had known for a long time, that had always been something that I envied about her. Like she's really good at that, and even in her corporate job, she was good at that. So when it came to a time where I needed help in that area, I just went to her and said, "Hey, would you consider ever working for me or doing this full time?" And she actually was super open to it. But I think it's about being observant and really watching where people's strengths are.
And believing in them. You believed in her and your team members, and now they're shining and helping you as well. How this is a
Yes.
team effort. You
Yes.
cannot do
And
this
one
alone.
other thing I would tell people, always make it so that you're not the only one that's benefiting. One thing I'm really proud of is the way that I structured my pay system for my team was that they also are invested. So every time we make a sale or every time a new student joins our course or every time we have a win, they benefit. Like we have bonuses that are all of us get a bonus if we meet certain goals, or all of us get to be a part of certain wins. And I think that right there is also crucial. Like make sure that everyone is invested so that you all grow together. Don't be so selfish to where you only want to pay, like, I don't want to pay that much and I don't have, no, like, really give and your team will give back to you.
The blessings are gonna come down. The blessings will come down, and that's where you
Yeah.
can't get greedy in
Yes.
this. And just being about the money, you got to be about the people. That's a legacy right there, believing in your people, because whatever you touched in them, whatever you planted inside of them, they're going to remember that and they're going to take
Yep.
that
That
with
is so true.
them. I think that is incredible, and just such a blessing how you noticed and you were aware of what they were good at, and you were not afraid
Mm-hmm.
to ask for help, because sometimes we get to a place where we let our ego stand in our way to feel like, oh, I can do everything
Yeah. I was
myself.
reading an article the other day and they were talking about how I think it's like 44% of new women owned businesses are from Black women or something like that. But of those, most of them are teams of one. They don't want to hire staff. And then that really limits them from being able to grow to higher level businesses because they don't want to grow a team. But until you grow a team, you're not able to scale to your full capacity because nobody can do it all. And it just leads to burnout when you try to do it all.
True. That is such a true. And I can't believe that article is inspiring too. Just the impact Black women have and what we are creating, what we can bring to the table. But especially just imagine if all these great Black women link up and support each other.
Yes, but
It's
see, that's the key word, support each other. We've got to be intentional about that. How do we bring each other up? How do we teach each other what we know? Because like if I'm in a business and I've been here 3 years and you're just starting up, well, how do I help you not to have to make all the errors that I made? Maybe it'll go a little faster for you. But we just got to be open to sharing that knowledge.
Exactly. And being the student of life, how you just gave so much knowledge on us with trading and stocking. And are you still involved
I
with
am.
real
Yes
estate?
and no. So I just recently let go of an Airbnb property that I have. So that one I let it go, but I'm actually kind of excited because the way that we're moving right now with coronavirus, everybody got their money back from Airbnbs and stuff. I was like, "Whoo, guess I missed a bullet there. That's good." But I do have a rental property in Chicago still. It was my first property. And then I'll be looking to probably do some more things. I'm in Texas now, so I'll be looking to do some more things in Texas, especially because the interest rate recently went down to 0. So if any of us can do something while the interest rates are this low, this is a good time.
This is a good time. So what do you think about investing into
It
land?
Depends. Tell me a little bit more. I think it depends on what the purpose is.
Okay, yeah, just trying to invest into whether it's property, land. I know, how important is it to invest into real estate?
Yeah.
That's my
Well, okay,
follow-up
here's the thing.
question.
When you're thinking about the difference between investing in real estate or investing in stocks, I actually lean more towards stocks now. And I'm still a managing broker in real estate in Texas. So I still love real estate. But if someone were to ask me, like, hey, here's $100,000, what would you do? I honestly would put all of it in the stock market. Yeah.
Wow,
But the reason
that's
why is
amazing.
because when you're investing in real estate, you've on a down payment and you have closing costs. So if you wanted to buy a home that was, let's say that it was 100,000, and this is on the small side, but let's say that it's a $300,000 home and you had to put 10% down. So that's 30,000 right there. And then if it's an investment property, you have to put 20% down. So that's $60,000 you had to come out of pocket just for your down payment. And that includes that doesn't include closing costs. So you're bringing to the table now about $70,000 to have an investment property that was worth 300,000. Then you heard my story before. You still have a mortgage, and in that mortgage, most of the payment is going towards principal. So now you have this home that you're paying on, but most of it's going towards the bank. So, and you're doing, yeah. And at the end of the day, you're doing all that because you're trying to get maybe $1,000 in rent every month, but most of that is going to go towards your mortgage and expenses. And don't let a window break or the AC go down because then you got to pay for that, or I got to paint the door. So all these expenses come out and at the end of it, you might make $100 a day. I mean, $100 a month, right? But on that same 100,000 that like you put the 100,000 into your down payment, your closing costs, fixes, all that stuff on the real estate side. And then on the other side, you take that same 100,000, you keep the whole thing in your brokerage account. If you're investing in stocks, you keep the whole thing in your brokerage account. So you have access to it anytime. And then you're just making money on that money. So the way I teach students is you're trying to make 1% of your cash amount a day. Well, $100,000, that's $1,000 a day. And the way I teach my students, we actually can do $1,000 a day with much less. Like if they have even 30,000 in their account, they can make $1,000 a day. And like honestly, most of my students don't start with that much. Like they may start with maybe 2,000 or 10,000. And even with that though, that's $10,000, $100 a day. That's $500 a week, $2,000 extra a month just from $10,000. So it's I think a better investment is investing in stocks because you still get to keep your money and then make money on it daily versus monthly.
Daily. My mind is blown right now, Teri. That was the way you just dropped that knowledge and just the little points about what you have to go through with real estate versus stock and investing. Oh, my mind is blown. I definitely think that's the smartest decision too. And it's less work as well. How you can
Yes.
still be at home
Yep.
making money. But making $1,000 a day can make a huge impact on other people's lives. That can change just their mindset and just how they even view life. Just having that
It
extra
really
money in
can.
their
So one of my
account.
students, her name is Annette, and recently she was able to quit her job. She was a RN nurse. And her thing in the beginning was like, if I could just make $100 a day, I'll be good. But she, on one of the worst days in the stock market, she's one of the ones that just made like $20,000 in a day. And she's like, Teri, like that's more than I would have made in a whole month of my RN salary. I made that in a day. Yes. And then she recently
In
took
a
on two of her
day.
nephews because her sister passed away. And so she took on her nephews. And she's like, I can afford to take care of them. I can afford to, yes. So
God bless her.
it's been really cool. And it's been really cool to see how lives have changed knowing this skill set.
Yes. So how does it feel on your behalf? Because you're a part of
Yeah.
this. You're a part of their legacy. You're a part of their generational wealth
I am really
that they
proud
are
of them.
building.
Like it makes me smile every day. One of my students, Rebecca, sent me a text message, Teri, like I just tripled my account yesterday, or oh, it's just like, oh my gosh. So I feel very
Oh
proud. I
my
feel
goodness.
grateful that I even have the opportunity to be part of their lives. I'm like the proud mom, I think, that's just sitting on the side and I get just so proud of them. Yeah. Like,
Just
you
cheering them
go,
on.
get it. Like one of my students, him and his wife went and like renewed their vows in Mykonos and they were able to use a lot of their investing to do that. And it was just like, that's cool. And I'm just in awe of God, to tell you the truth, because like I said, like he's the one who pushed me to do all this. So I know that this is his master plan. He's probably got some bigger plan for all of this. So I'm just watching. I'm
Working up. You are just the vessel.
no,
You are
thank
the
you.
vessel in all of this. That's incredible. I would love to hear what are some of the craziest myths you heard about
I think the
investing and
biggest one is
trading.
that it's a gamble. A lot of people think that it's a gamble, like going to the casino or something, but not the way that I teach it. Like we are, like I've told you before, but we're looking at charts. We're looking at where the banks are buying, where the banks are selling. We're calculating our reward to risk. We know before we even take a trade, what's the probability of this trade being successful. We know how to protect ourselves. We know exactly how much we'll lose on every trade. We know exactly how much we stand to win. So it's not a gamble to us because we have serious numbers behind it. So I do think that like that's a myth that it's a gamble. We are taking very high probability trades that are like just very high probability trades. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Mhm.
studying the game here. This is in the charge and have truly a blueprint that you are
Yep.
giving
Yep.
with your
And people
course.
can learn all
Of
of this at itradeandtravel.com
and
too.
with
I have a free
you.
webinar on how to make $1,000 a day. So it's if they go to itradeandtravel.com, they can learn a lot of this too.
Yes, I trade and travel. That we got to remember that. And one last question. So, how can we afford to travel and to live our
I
best
think
life
first you
like
have to figure out your
this?
freedom number. And your freedom number is if you were to replace your income, how much do you need a day? And I think for a lot of us, it's a lot less than we think it will be. When you think of it in big chunks, you're like, oh my God, like I got to replace $60,000 a year. And how am I going to do that? But when you really calculate it down, it's like, wait, to get to 60,000, I really only need like $200 a day or, $250 a day. And then you start thinking about all the hours you spend to make $250 a day. Then you get mad. You're like, they ain't paying me enough. but first
Right.
calculate your freedom number. And then of course I'm going to say, and then learn how to invest to meet that goal. Because once you've started building up supplemental income, then now you can decide whether you want to stay or leave. You can decide if you want to just take a trip for a month at a time and live in different places. And you can start putting all the places on your bucket list on a list and actually going there. Because I think one of the biggest revelations to me once I started making money was that flights are not that expensive. Yes, for a long time that was a
Not
big
that
barrier. Like, oh,
expensive.
I can never go overseas because the flight is so much. But now I started looking at flights and I'm like, it's only
Yeah.
$300 to get to Europe, or it's only like $400 to get to Asia. Like, it's not a big barrier.
We stand in our own way. Yeah, we stand in our own way from
Yep,
just
so true.
experiencing
And I don't
life.
know why we do that. We just have this idea that whatever it is unattainable and we stop going for it. Like, oh, well, I would love to be on a beach in Cancun, but can't do it. And then you start asking people, but why can't you do it? Well, yeah.
They don't even, they will name some excuses that just is just a whole
Mm-hmm.
bunch of mess that they created in their head. It's really all the excuse, and it's how you stated
Exactly.
before, it's the mindset. If you have a poverty mindset, you're going to stay in poverty. But if you have this abundance of mindset of just giving, sharing, that's going to come back tenfold. That's just how it works.
Yes,
What comes
exactly.
up must come
Yep, that's so
down.
true.
So since you have experience being a millionaire, you are a millionaire,
Nah,
does
girl.
money buy
I'm still,
happiness?
I'm still like, Lord, where my boo at? Wait, okay, is Boaz coming around the corner? I thought you said two was better than one. No, I'm just kidding. I think it takes a lot of the worry off of you. So, before I was wondering, like, do I need to get another job? Am I gonna have to go substitute teach to make up for my income? But now it's kind of like, okay, that one I can check off the list. I'm gonna be okay. I may not always live in the lap of luxury, but for a little while, I could be okay. So you take that one off the list. But then the next part is like, but then you got to have good mental health. Are you okay with who you are as a person? Are Yes, because if you're not, money's
That's
not going to help
deep.
you get that. Are you okay with the people around you? Because community is important. Do you feel lonely all the time? And that's not a bad thing. Like as entrepreneurs, many times we truly are alone. So if you feel lonely, that's okay. It's a reality.
Mhm.
But like, how do you deal with that? So the issues of life don't go away when you get more money. So no, they don't buy happiness. It just buys probably a little bit more peace, but then you got to keep pushing yourself.
You gotta keep pushing. Teri, you are just an incredible spirit, an incredible woman. It's truly inspiring. You have motivated me for this moment, and just seeing what you are doing to the community for others. I truly appreciate all
Thank you
the
so
hard
much,
work
Tara.
that you are
Thank you
putting
for even letting me
in.
be here. I really appreciate it.
We need this, and more than ever now. We need to learn about trading. We need to learn about investing, and we need to learn about having to have a wealth mindset that you have created for yourself. Where can we find you, your courses, your
Yes, the best
Instagram? Can
place to
you
go
just
if you want to
drop it
learn
for
more about
us?
my course, especially how to make $1,000 in a day, is itradeandtravel.com. And that's trade like TRADE. So itradeandtravel.com. And then on Instagram, I'm at I'm an investor. It looks like Imani investor. So you can put in Imani investor and that would work too. But it's supposed to be I'm an investor on Instagram. That's
Awesome. What's your
basically the
personal
one. Sometimes I
Instagram?
also use Trade and Travel, so I'll post like my travel
Okay.
pics on Trade and Travel. But really, I'm an
Okay.
investor is my everything. Instagram.
Awesome. Awesome. Teri, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to just teach us the game right now. I hope everyone that is listening really acts on this because
Thank
it's
you
the
so much.
time. This is
You're
the
so right.
time. This is. Can you just leave us with some last
Yes,
words of
during this
wisdom before
time
you go?
of uncertainty, I definitely want you guys to just start breathing. Pray a little bit more, breathe a little deeper. It's going to be okay. And then just start imagining bigger thoughts. Like try to dream bigger. Whatever it is that you thought would be like your 5-year plan, try to 5x that, 10x that. So like, okay, if I wanted to make a 6-figure salary by 40, then now what would it look like for me to make $500,000 instead of 100,000 or $1,000,000? Just allow yourself to dream, because when you start dreaming bigger, you'll actually start reaching bigger goals.
That is the truth. You are you're just so incredible. Thank you so much for the
Thank you for having
wisdom.
me.
Thank you. And you're welcome. I wish you much success. And thank you all for joining another Take the Lead podcast. We will see you